So, for today's podcast, we have made it to the end of the week, the first week for the first approximately half of our students. David Smith back with us. So, you have been in, I think, every single building the last 3 days. Let's hear about it. How's it going?
Well, you're right. I've been in every single building and many twice over the last 3 days. So it's been a phenomenal start. Just talk about an answer to prayers. It truly has been that. In fact, several folks have said, and not just several, many folks have said, this is the best start we've ever had. And there are some common themes that have rolled through it from students and teachers alike. The fact that since we have this soft opening, so much less stress. Teachers are less stressed. Students clearly are less stressed. I've heard over and over again from parents that, hey, my kids are coming home. They're happy. They love their teachers. And I think the soft opening, the staggered start, if you will, has really allowed our teachers to focus on each individual student.
Sure.
It really does tie in with our GAIN initiative and how we truly want to educate the whole child. So it's been great. And the intentionality that our teachers and all the staff have put into the opening of school has been phenomenal.
I've actually heard of it. We've all had a lot of conversations, but again, I know you've had so many being in every single one of our EVSC schools. But, people who have been a part of opening school, whether they were a teacher or a principal, secretary, what have you, for years and years, this year, because of the nature of this unique situation, really evaluated every single step in the process. And they said in some ways that was probably a good thing.
Oh, absolutely. And I think it's yielded perhaps some unintended benefits. For instance, kids that typically may be a little bit anxious or apprehensive, our teachers, phenomenal job, have taken pictures and have emailed them, sent them to students, say, this is your desk, this is where the cafeteria is. And that really has just put such a calm over our students. It has been an incredibly great start.
Well, and I know you've had a lot of conversations with staff, but I know you've tried to touch base and have asked questions to students as well. We actually went out and grabbed some clips just of a random quick sampling of students. I thought it'd be cute just to show those as far as what their reactions have been. So we're going to show that right now.
Great, let's watch.
I was kind of a little nervous at first, but I am really excited to be back. Being here is exciting. It's my last year, and I wanted to make it fun, and I will make it fun, even though through this tough times, it'll be fun learning these new things.
We love the school, love being here, interacting with all my teachers.
It feels pretty good because you get to see new people and get to make them feel happy and meet new people.
Just talking to my friends, learning. Overall, I just miss school.
Because I get to see my friends again and I can learn stuff again.
Being back for me is awesome because I finally get to see my friends and actually be with them instead of being stuck inside during Corona.
I really liked it. I like to see all my friends and all my teachers are really nice.
Last week I thought we weren't going to be able to have school, but now that we've actually started, I feel like we could do it the whole year.
Well, just by some people going, it just helps you kind of ease in it better.
I missed it.
It's interesting just to hear that. And that's, of course, a sampling of elementary, middle, and high school students. But I think, and we've said this, it's one thing to hear younger students talk about how positive they feel, but high school students sometimes aren't the most vocal about those type of things, and we're hearing the same thing from our older teenagers.
Absolutely. And as you said, I've been in every single building, and what has been so encouraging, heartwarming, is I've not seen a single issue with a single student, not seen a single issue with a mask. And, that was a concern of everybody.
Sure.
But I do know that in challenging times that the human spirit and we can step up. And that clearly has been evident with our students and our staff. So just very, very grateful.
Well, let's do this real quick. Let's just think of anything we want to share because, what makes this unique this year with this soft start is as we're posting this, we're wrapping up week 1, but it's the first 3 days for half of our students. So basically, we're going to start all over on Monday
Yes, we
morning
are.
with students whose last names begin K through Z, while the students who were here this week are going to take a brief hiatus. So, yeah, anything that's come across any of our desks as you've been out, conversations you've had that you want to make sure people are thinking about or reminders for the next group of parents and students?
Well, first of all, I think it's important that we remember not to take our foot off the gas because
Definitely.
the things that everyone has undertaken to make this first week such a success, we want that to continue into next week. So the cooperation, the collaboration that we've had with parents and students has been phenomenal. So continue to, especially with your younger kiddos, to work with them on wearing a mask and just how to kind of ease them in. But I think the phenomenal experience that we've had these first 3 days should help ease anxiety that anyone would have with the start of school. It will be great.
And I think the students that are going to be coming back that have not been back yet are going to find that while things may look a bit different now, and we've posted pictures on social media to show this, and especially you think of a school cafeteria where it's not quite the same environment. I do think students have even shared this and will continue to see they'll be able to adapt. They may not be sitting quite as close to one another, but as they make their way through the year, they're going to get accustomed to this new normal to keep them safe, but allow them to continue to interact with one another.
Oh, absolutely. We haven't stopped interaction. We've just made certain that it's safe. So you can still talk. We're more than 6 feet apart,
Sure.
and we're having great interaction. Our kids, I've witnessed that time and time and time again this week. So we've gone to great lengths to make certain that we can achieve that social or that physical distancing, and it's working.
One more thing, an observation I made as I've been out about students wearing masks is I have not really witnessed, and I know teachers are reminding kids all the time, I understand that, but I really haven't seen as many reminders because it's like kids have this quickly realized how important it is. I even saw students on a playground. Many were choosing on their own to wear a mask. I saw some take them off for a brief moment or two because they were spaced out. It was like they took a few breaths, got some fresh air, and then just on their own accord put them back on without an adult hovering over them saying you have to put it back on. So it's like they're getting it.
Absolutely. And I think, if you express what the expectations are, students will live up to those expectations. And we've seen that time and time again this week. It has been great.
So let's talk, let's shift gears for a second, talk about the Virtual Academy.
Sure.
So EVSC Virtual Academy, again, has been around over 10 years, but it's never seen this kind of sudden interest. We've gone from under 100 on a typical year to, I think we're probably getting close to going over 3,000 students enrolled. So, we appreciate everyone's patience, but do you want to just talk about where we're at right now with the EVSC Virtual Academy?
Sure. And I appreciate the interest and the huge enrollment that we have in the virtual academy because it, I think, is a phenomenal option for our families. And as we have a soft start with our brick and mortar settings, really have that same soft start with the virtual academy. While they are starting on the 19th, they, just like our brick and mortar schools, really are getting in full swing around the 27th of August. As you know, we've had a number of families that have enrolled in virtual academy somewhat later.
Right. And we did not cut it off. We did that
No.
intentionally. We didn't want to say you had to enroll by this date 2 weeks ago. We thought, let's just let people have that opportunity.
Yes, that's a phenomenal point. And those families that find that maybe it's not a great fit for them, then they want to come back into our brick and mortar settings. That's going to happen, and we'll certainly accommodate them. But as we continue to move resources around, because they were equipped to have 100 computers, and we knew we were going to have additional interest, certainly, and we were prepared for that. But now we just have to adjust the Chromebooks and everything then that students need. So that's happening as we speak. And, there are also some things that you just run into when anything is new. A lot of the backlog, if you will, and some emails and things like that is being created by, hey, I forgot my password. Hey, I forgot my username. Well, that takes a lot of time to work through all that. So I appreciate everybody's patience and cooperation. I have complete and total confidence that all that will be smoothed out and that it will be a phenomenal experience for folks. But imagine going from about 100 to 3,000. it'll take a little bit of time to
Sure.
shift resources, but we will get it going. Nobody's going to be docked or anything
That's
like that.
kind of the key. I think a lot of parents who, are always looking out for their child to be successful are worried if there's a glitch that delays things a few days, are they being marked down, so to speak. That is not
a problem.
the case.
I hope that people have seen time and time again, and we've developed that trust with each other in the community that we're going to work with you. We are going to strive each and every day to make certain that everyone is successful, no different in a brick and mortar setting than in our virtual academy.
And I do want to just reemphasize the point you made. We are going to give a brief period of time here in the next couple of weeks where if a student and a family decide, you know what, maybe two reasons. Maybe they don't feel like that self-guided program in the virtual academy with teacher support is for them, or maybe they hear so many positive things about in-person instruction that they say, let's go ahead and give it a shot. We feel good about it. We're going to allow that time before we lock in that commitment.
Absolutely. One of the guiding principles that we established for the reopening of schools was the second priority was to make certain that we would have options for our families. So this is a phenomenal option.
Sure.
And I understand folks being anxious, but I tell you what, our schools are ready. And we can accommodate however you want to educate your child this year.
Sure. I want to switch gears one more time then. And actually, we have a clip we're going to show here because we know moving forward. I mean, again, let's be honest. We are in the middle of a pandemic here, and there's so many what-if scenarios, whether it's educators asking those questions or parents. So in the what-if scenario, what if a teacher finds himself in a quarantine situation? We actually have that, and I'll briefly set it up. We did an interview with a teacher. She happens to be an 8th grade teacher at McGarry Middle School.
I was in her classroom
and
today.
Funny enough, you were in her room today. You didn't see her in person, but you would have seen her through technology.
We were having a great conversation. She was having a great conversation with her class.
Right.
There was a substitute there, but I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, the amazing thing is for this is that she found herself not because of anything at school. It was through a situation at home where she was identified as a possible close contact, had to quarantine, so she could not start the school year this week.
And she's just fine.
And she's doing great, thank goodness. So is her family. But the positive thing is through technology, she has not had to just take off and be away. There is a sub there to just help with classroom management, but she is connecting daily all day long through that. So we talked to her about this. Let's go ahead and play that clip, and then we'll hear about your thoughts being in the room.
Great.
I have this seating chart up when they walk in along with my face, and I'm welcoming them to the room. I take attendance because I can see the kiddos, and I have that RDS capability. I can email the office if a kiddo's not in class and say, hey, have you seen so-and-so? When the office calls down to the room over the intercom, I respond and answer, and it kind of freaked the secretaries out the first couple of days because they had forgotten that I was in there, and they were like, who is this answering the intercom? But I'm in the room other than just being there physically.
Kind of amazing as you saw. Talk to us about, you heard her talking, you were in the room today. So
no, it was phenomenal. And so she was talking to the whole class, whole group instruction. She can also communicate, with individual students.
Yeah, kind of a chat feature if one or two kids is having a specific problem.
And she mentioned students, hey, how can I help you? It was just like she was there. So, and, the interesting thing, as we were chatting, she said, and I'm not really that technologically savvy.
Mm-hmm.
But even her kids said, wow, you're doing really great with this, Mom. Right. So,
I think the point is there, we're going to work through every situation. Sure. Of course, you and I, everyone thinks, gosh, what if this teacher, has to quarantine or whatever? If that happens, though, we're going to work through each situation so that we can keep learning moving forward, whatever that looks like.
Absolutely. And it's such a blessing. EVSC has been a leader in technology now for well over a decade also in terms of infrastructure and devices and teacher utilization of our technology. So we were very, very well prepared for the pandemic that we didn't know was coming.
Right.
So such a blessing. And she was doing a phenomenal job. And I mean, the kids, you could just see their interaction with their teacher too. It was very, very encouraging.
And she did talk to me about the fact that, again, the importance too of she and her fellow teachers, and we know this is going on everywhere, practicing and preparing ahead of time so that it wasn't an after the fact, what should I do now? It was being prepared in the event something happens. This is our plan B.
Yep.
So let's do this then. We've covered a lot of ground, Dr. Smith. We're wrapping up here this first week. Just final thoughts as we look ahead to kind of starting all over and doing this again for the second half of the alphabet next week.
Sure. Well, and we look forward to that too. As I said, I've been in every building, had lots of conversations with our nurses. As you know, they're now full-time in all of our buildings, and they've been phenomenal too. I tell you, final thoughts, thank everybody. And
you mean everybody.
I do mean everybody, students, teachers, all staff members. The collaboration and the cooperation that we've received has been nothing short of phenomenal. I mentioned earlier when you have moments of crisis, if you will, and it's so heartwarming to see everybody step up, and that's exactly what everybody's done. I will assure you, we've taken every step necessary to prevent the spread of COVID-19 within the school setting. I just want to encourage everybody to utilize those same precautions when they're in the community.
Yes, let's keep them in school, and
absolutely.
that happens when we all work together.
And we'll get through it, and I think this could be one of our finest moments.
And our parents have certainly stepped up. We saw that last spring in a very challenging situation for parents, and we're seeing it again now as they're supporting their kiddos as they get ready to start school.
Absolutely. And I know that as difficult as COVID-19 can be, there are also some silver linings, and appreciate parents reaching out with their appreciation, when their kids come home excited, saying, "Hey, I love my teachers this year," and just all the connections that are being made. I just appreciate the hard work that everybody has put into this.
Okay, I'll end with a couple of plugs. As we always say, please, we want to keep everyone in the loop, so keep following EVSC on social media. Keep checking out either your school's website or the EVSC website, evscschools.com. If you have a change of phone number, email address, that type of thing, please always give that to your school as quickly as possible, because we want you to be set up so that if we send out text or phone call notifications, you don't miss out on important information. But great week this week, Dr. Smith, and I have no doubt we're going to do it again next week.
I agree. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks.